We are going to use the SUDS or the 0 to 10 intensity meter a lot. What I believe is that when your emotions are high at a 9 or a 10, that your brain, reasoning power, personality, and problem-solving skills are inversely related and they're at a 0. If I calm you down, you bring up your ability to think things through, okay? By the way, the neuroscientists agree with me because they say that when you're up here in this mode, you're using your old reptilian brain. Your reptilian brain knows how to make you survive, okay? So your reptilian brain will do fight or flight, okay? Attack, like an alligator, attack or run. As you calm down, you bring up your executive functioning. I know that my preference, if I have to deal with anything, is to do that from my logical executive functioning brain as opposed to my, what the heck, you know, kind of thing, okay? The other thing that you're going to see is that this technique, like therapy, works in the present, the past, and the future, okay? I always start in the present, okay? So the present might be that a person comes in and says, I am really upset about my manager. My manager is really on my back all the time. 0 to 10, how upsetting is that to you? It's a 9. What part of that, we'd ask that question a lot too, what part of that bothers you? She's just so critical, okay? So how do you feel when she's critical? I'm looking for the emotion. I am annoyed, highly annoyed. So now I'm off and running. I'm okay even though I'm highly annoyed with my manager, highly annoyed with my manager, highly annoyed, okay? So it's coming down, and by the way, each round is a half minute. So essentially when we do this with people, we're doing it for a minute and a half. It feels much longer when you're watching it or when you're doing it, but it's really only a minute and a half. So she's coming down, and in 3 rounds, we're looking for a 2 to 4 point drop, okay? But she's not dropping that fast. She's dropping like 1. There's a lot of questions that you ask yourself when they just drop 1 point. And one question for this slide anyway is this something from the past? Is this really about the manager? Is this something from the past? So a Gestalt technique is to put things on the shelf. Some of you may know that. I have a lot of things to do when I leave here tonight. I've taken all of them and put them on the shelf until 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, I'll take them off. In the beginning, it looks like this. You're putting it on the shelf. Later, it looks like this. Okay. Anyway, so I kind of said to her, does your manager remind you of anyone from your past? And of course, it's right there. Yes. My grandmother babysat for me. She was the most critical woman in the world. I was with her a lot. I can't believe that my parents left me with the mother that raised them, knowing how bad she was. Okay? So there it is. So now I'm in the present. I'm going to put the manager on the shelf. I'm going to put that on the shelf, and I'm going to step into the past. And I'm going to step into the past and say, tune into your grandmother and all that criticism. Okay? And how upsetting is that? 0 to 10. That's a 10. I'm asking you now. It's still a 10. Okay? Kind of thing. And what part of that was the worst? She just wouldn't leave me alone. And as you think about that, what's the emotion? I am just overwhelmed. So now I'm running overwhelmed that my grandmother just wouldn't leave me alone. Overwhelmed, and I'm calming that down. I calm that down to a below 2. I'm looking for 2 or below, okay? I'd love to get to 0. I don't always get to 0, 2 or below. And she's good. It's like, okay, it's a long time ago. She doesn't have any hold on me. In fact, she's deceased at this point. So there's no, you know, it was a long time ago. I was a kid. I'm a different person now. Then I step back into the present, okay? I'll tell you this 2 or 3 times. I do believe in repetition. So don't get too worried if you're not grasping all of it. I step back into the present. Tune into your manager that you said is very critical, and how upsetting is that? About a 2. She is who she is. It's only a job. Okay, and then I will step into the future. How nervous are you about having this conversation with her about her always being on your back? About a 4. What part of that is the worst? I just hope she doesn't hold it against me later. Okay, and are you worried about that? A little. So worried that she'll hold it against me later. Worried she'll hold it. So I'm always working. I start in the present. I look for things in the past, and I'm always trying to prep them for the future. Okay? Does that sound like therapy? Yeah, it does, right? You're all nodding your head. I have to tell the camera that. They're all nodding their head. Okay? It is what we do, right, as therapists. Okay, we start in the present, we look for it in the past. But what's different is in the past, we would say sort of logical things to them, like, well, look, your grandmother's not in your life anymore, you're an adult, and we would do that, and we're really kind of talking to that left brain to calm down the right brain. This technique covers the whole brain, okay? So let's get you guys to do this. I don't know why. I apologize that we do have a point on top. Somehow it's got me up here like I'm an angel. It's not supposed to be up there. It's supposed to be part of your head, okay? This is a Gary Craig demo that he uses a lot, and we're going to use it too. And I want to tell you, in this demo, you're going to notice, I want to show you 3 ways that this is applied. We'll do one type of light touch, we'll do one type of tapping, and one that I call camouflaged EFT, because there are times that you have to hide this, okay? You're in a situation. I don't mind sharing with the group that I am my first client. I have generalized anxiety disorder and a whopping public speaking phobia that I was determined to beat, and I took a lot of steps, and I can actually tell you which workshop I was in when that public speaking thing went away. I was in a workshop and I was working on it with not a colleague, I didn't know him, just another participant. So Gary Craig uses this, okay? So what I'm going to ask you to do in a second, and this is to show you the mind-body connection, I'm going to ask you in a second to take a breath, just a normal breath. Okay, and we're going to rate that normal breath 0 to 100. Okay, 0 is, I need oxygen. 100 is that that I'm breathing amazingly so. And I don't really care what your number is. Okay, it's just we want to see what the difference is. So take that normal breath, if you will, and just note it or write it down. What percentage of your lungs you feel like you filled? Okay, all right, everyone's got that? Okay, so follow me if you will, and we're going to do the first round of tapping, and you're going to know that 90% of the people out there, possibly even 95% of the people in EFT are doing tapping. And so we're going to do, come on up here, top of head. And by the way, this is really light touch. Please don't hurt yourself, it's really light touch. Inner eyebrow. Outer eye, and under the eye. Under the nose. By the way, it's either side, either hand, or both hands if you want to. Under the lip. And collarbone. Under the arm. For women, it's easy. It's where the bra strap hits. For guys, it's 4 inches below your armpit. It's actually on a parallel to the nipple. This here is called the Gamete Spot. Let's not tap for a second. I want to make sure everyone in the room gets this one. I'm going to hold it up here. If you can find the bone in the pinky and the bone in the ring finger, I'm in that indent or that gully. This is a big one. It's the thyroid meridian used for both depression and pain. That's why I want to make sure everyone gets this one. Okay? If any of you have any questions at the break, come up and I'll show you where it is exactly, okay? So tap here. And I throw this last one on here, heart hold. Okay, so we did tapping. Now we're going to do light touch. Looks like a karate chop. Top of head. This is light, folks. It's lighter than you think. It's touch. Inner eyebrow. Outer eye. And under the eye. And I also want to tell you, this is an eyes open technique. Okay, because meditation is so common out there, you're going to watch your clients close their eyes all the time. You want their eyes open. Under the nose. Under the lip. and collarbone. Under the arm, over to that gamete spot. By the way, I'm holding it up here because so you can see me, but I'm going to tell you, get comfortable with it. Drop it on your lap. Drop it on the table. Let's have you drop it on the table. Take your top hand and go over it. There are some people that do this, which is just too awkward. Yeah, be comfortable with it, okay? And the heart hold.